Hi guys, and welcome to Cooking Your Ash Off. This is Scrumptious Sunday, and today I'm going to be making my seafood Gumbo-laya. It's kind of a mix between gumbo and jambalaya. So this is a pretty quick recipe, and it's game day, so I'm all decked out. Gonna try to get this done before the game. So first of all, I've got half a pound of shrimp and a half a pound of bay scallops. And that's all I'm putting in here. If you wanted to put more in, if you wanted to do chicken or crab, you could, but I'm going to leave this as is for this kind of healthier dish. So I've got these rinsed and dried, and I'm going to just sprinkle them with olive oil and salt and pepper, brown them on both sides so I can kind of lock in the flavor of the seafood. So, I mean, just kind of to your discretion. Just drizzle with olive oil. And I've got my pan warmed up already, well, it's starting to warm up right now, and it's got a little bit of oil in the bottom of it too, just so when you throw them in there they don't stick. I'm going to just sprinkle them with salt and pepper, and that's it. The salt, and then a little bit of pepper. Then I'm going to put them in. I'm not going to mix them up, I'm just going to throw them in, and then I might salt and pepper them as I flip them, depending on kind of if they need more or not. So I'm just going to take these over and brown them, and then I'll show you what they look like when they're done. This took about 12 minutes to saute. I did it a little bit slowly because I like the scallops to be a perfect kind of browned, because I just like the flavor of it in this dish. And then that's the shrimp and the scallops. Okay, so now that we have got that step out of the way, I'm just going to set these aside and cut up the vegetables that are going to go into I've got a pan back here. So I'm just going to cut up the vegetables. What I've got is a big clove of garlic. I've got a big yellow onion, but I'm probably only going to use half of it. And then I have 3 stalks of celery, washed of course. So those are the vegetables that are going to go in. I'm also going to throw in a couple of these Thai chilies. They don't make it hot, they just add kind of like depth to the dish. So I like to use these. I keep these in the cabinet at all times. So I'm going to bring these over and chop these up. Skin the garlic first here. And I think maybe, oh, there's 2 in 1 here, so that's okay. I think what I'm going to do is, I really like the flavor of garlic in here, but I don't think I want the chunks, and so I think I'm going to use my garlic press. But if you don't have a garlic press, you can cut it up really fine and just put it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my garlic press. So, garlic press. Stick this thing through. Alright, see, and it comes out kind of squishy. And you just kind of nip it off there. And then it actually had 2 little things in one, so I'm just going to do the rest here. And there'll still kind of be left behind in there in the little compartment. No big deal. Got the good stuff out of there, and it kind of juices it and it releases all the moisture, and that helps it too with the add the flavor. Put your garlic over to your side of your cutting board here. Okay, I'm going to cut the big ends off of the celery because everybody knows that you can't really eat that part anyway. And I'm going to chop these sort of small. About like that. So I'm going to chop these up here. Alright, so celery. And if you want to use more celery, you can. I like the flavor of celery in there, but I don't like it to be the majority of the flavor, and sometimes celery can be a little overbearing. So I'm just going to cut my big yellow onion in half here. You cut the end off. Good little, so I can peel the outer layer. And then I'm going to chop these. I'll show you the size of this too, of course. And it'll be about that size and smaller. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you over to the pan. I'm going to heat a little bit of olive oil on the bottom and sweat these all together and show you what that looks like. Okay, so the onions go in first, and I let them just kind of sweat for a few minutes because they're the biggest and they kind of take the longest. So the onions go in first, but not, too far ahead of the celery because the celery takes kind of a little while too. Alright, so next is the celery. And then I'm going to go ahead and just add in the garlic. It's kind of just bunched up like that. Just drizzle it in there. I'm going to give it a good stir and marry all those flavors in there together. And it smells so awesome. You guys smell it in there? And salt and pepper only because most of your flavor is going to come from the broth or whatever bouillon that you choose. And if you choose to make it spicy or use the Thai chilies. And in this dish I'm using tomato bouillon instead of the traditional maybe like chicken or beef. And I'll show you guys what that looks like here. I've got 5, I'll bring this over here. I've got 5 teaspoons of the tomato bouillon, and I just added 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper right into there because I wanted to add a little bit of spice, but not too, not too overbearing because the family's going to be eating this. So that looks about the amount of, sweat that you want to do. It's not a real saute. You just want to kind of marry those flavors in there before you start adding these other ingredients. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw in goes the Thai chilies. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add in my, shrimp and scallops to these that are in here just sweating and sauteing. Whoops, lost one. Oh yeah. That's the stuff. Can you see what that looks like? Can you get a close up of that? And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and mix in my dry tomato bouillon with the chili powder, just to kind of get it mixed in there. I like to do that first and then get the water on it so that the ingredients kind of take on that flavor first. Alright, now I'm just going to add 2 quarts of water. This is what you're looking at after everything's in there together. Now this is going to cook, it's a fairly quick recipe compared to some of my other ones, but I like to let this cook for about 30 minutes. And I also do the rice that's going to go in it separately. So I'll show you guys kind of how I do that. It's really simple, and then you add that in at the end. Okay, so while that is, which way is it? That way. While that's on the stove, I should tell you that it's at a medium to high. I like to let it boil for about 10 minutes, and then I'll turn it down to kind of a high simmer for the remainder of the time. So right now I've got my water on over here for my rice, and again I like to leave them separate because I like to be able to regulate the water. This needs its own amount of water and this needs its own amount of water to cook. In traditional gumbo recipes they use a little bit of flour, and I'm not going to use flour because the starchiness of the rice is going to add kind of that thickness that the flour gives in the traditional recipes. So I've got my water, it's about to boil, and so just check whatever kind of rice you use. I'm using just regular white rice, so just check your package or whatever you use and follow the directions on there, and then once it's done there, then I add it into my pot. It's really as easy as that. So my rice is done, and what I'm going to do now is just add it into the gumbo mix here, and then I'm going to cover it for about 10 minutes because I want the rice to kind of absorb some of the flavors from the juice in the gumbo. So I'm just going to add this into there, and when it's all done and tied together, I'll show you what the end product looks like. I know I said I'd show you the end result, but I wanted to show you a sneak peek of what it looks like in here. So look.
Don't cut me.
See, in there, rice,
don't cut.
Shrimp. And it tastes so good. Of course I've cheated and tasted
don't
it.
Cut me.
Okay, so here it is, the finished product. Perfect. It's so perfectly cooked. It's delicious. It's still steamy. You can see the steam coming off. But it's the perfect mixture of just the rice, the juices, the delicious shrimp. It's So now it's time to dig in. I've already cheated and tasted it, but I'm going to do it again because it's really good. It's so good. Okay. It's hot. Still hot.
Go.
This is so good. Thank you guys again for joining me for another Scrumptious Sunday. Be sure you tune in every Sunday for another delicious recipe. Bye guys! Don't waste my olive oil.
Is there some in it? That's mine though.
Should I wear my shirt inside out like you are?
So look like, what's that guy?
Jack Nicholson?
Does. We'll cut this one.
Okay, I'm going. Everyone? Okay, I'm going. Okay. Are you recording?
Yeah. It is.
It is. Okay.
Kind of diagonally.
So now what? That onion was no joke.
Hey, Mommy.
Yes, baby. Mommy's cooking. Oh, my onion's making me cry.
With me, without it.
The onion is making Mommy cry. She's smart. So Travis was trying to find a straw for my daughter's cup and couldn't find one. So we're out. And so he comes in here and he clipped my straw. So now I can't drink my tea. Look at that.
Problem solver.
Problem
Hey,
solver.
Mommy.
Problem creator.
Well, one is solved.
Is that Pat on? Is that?
Oh my gosh, I'm still recording. I don't have much time. Almost done. Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
You look really good.
Better.
You're just in your face. You're like
It's really hot.
tuning in every. The delicious